just like that, we are sat. I am getting my life together. This is going to be kind of quick because I have places to be. And as will be a common theme for me, my time management skills are terrible when I'm outside of work because I don't have a deadline when I'm outside of work. When I'm at work, I do have a deadline, and I'm going to a bowling event. So I am going to do my press-ons while I talk about my musings of love is blind, love is blurry. That is when we went on the internet, and then I'm going to discuss this book that I really just enjoyed reading. It had long been recommended to me by a couple of friends of mine, and I'm very stubborn. I'm going to own that. I'm a very stubborn person. I didn't think I was in a place to be able to execute some of the things that they were saying, and as I'm getting older, I'm realizing that's not how personal finance works. How personal finance indeed works is that you're supposed to at least be looking at the problem, at least know what you're working with, because how can you address something if you have no idea what it is that's going on, right? So we're going to talk about that, and that's going to be how I got off the internet and touched grass. Yes, and I'm going to multitask, which you should not do, and get these press-ons on because I'm just a girl and I want to look cute. And I'm really into my press-on phase right now in this life because I'm making good financial choices because I want to get into my nails, but people have lost their minds. You know, I remember in my college days, and again, I'm aging myself. I remember in my college days where getting your nails done was kind of a thing, and I used to kind of get my nails done, but I was being more proactive, right? So getting your nails done was like maybe $50 to get a manicure and a pedicure. Yes, inflation inflates, life happens, yada, 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 but I'm just a girl who's trying to make it, and I want to make it to retirement as quickly as possible because they're really out here telling people, 70, and I'm saying absolutely not. The original social contract was 65, 67 at the most, and I would like that to be honored because that is what I entered the workforce agreeing to. So anywho, so let's talk about love is blind, love is blurry. And when I tell you the order in which my villains for Love is Blind has changed over the years, because I have to put up notes. I had to take notes because, okay, let's see what I said. For Love is Blind season 10, it's made me change my order. Originally, my order was for Love is Blind villains, Chelsea for revealing Jimmy's sexual past, something that he discussed with her in private, and she agreed that she would not be disclosing to anyone. And then because she was feeling insecure at the moment, yes, no one's going to fault her for feeling insecure, but because I definitely think Jimmy was always on his way out. But what we are going to fault her is for the fact that, yes, she indeed promised not to disclose that on air because he wanted to be open, honest, and transparent with her. And then what did she do? Break his trust. And what did they do on the reunion? They glossed over it. They just said, it wasn't my finest moment. Accountability is important to me because I have a desire to do the right thing, because I definitely think that when you do the hard work and you've been hurt, you want to make sure that you don't hurt people, right? Because after a while, you kind of just realize that's what's really happening in life, that it's just a bunch of hurt people trying to navigate life. And it's all of our first times on earth. So yeah, we're not always going to show up as our best selves. We're not always going to get it right. But for the times that we don't get it right, you don't just get to just be like, oh, well, that wasn't my finest moment, move on. No, you have to own that shit. Like, she made him feel uncomfy, and she should own that. Those are my feelings. That's not going to change. Okay. My phone telling me I need to close my rings and things of that nature, right? Then was Paul for making me defend Micah, because I did not like Irene and Micah. But Paul made me defend Micah because him telling the world, essentially, because let us not forget, Netflix is an internationally streaming platform. As we watch Love is Blind UK, they watch Love is Blind US, right? He told the entire world that she was not going to be a good mother. And to that I ask, what are you basing that on? Because you are not a parent. She is not a parent. So this is pure conjecture. None of this is fact. These are all just your thoughts. And he is more than welcome to have his opinions, but I think announcing it to the world that she has no maternal instinct and he couldn't see her she wasn't warm, I think is what he said. Did not like that. That is something that, again, he's allowed to feel that, but I think to broadcast that was meant to hurt her. And I don't believe in that. At least I didn't believe in that at that moment. Because these days I'm definitely having when they go low, we go to hell. Next is Uche with his recent cheaters comment. While this entire time being on a show with his ex talking about Lydia. Uche, have several seats. Lydia's voice is very distinct. It was pretty recent. There is no way that he was unaware that was her, right? But now I have to drop all those people down 2 notches because I have two new original people that I don't like, which, to be fair, it's fresh, so that's probably how I feel, why I feel this way. For future seasons, if ever I'm still doing this, I might change my mind, right? But as of now, the new people who are in the first position is, of course, Chris for body shaming freaking Jessica. Sir, I need him to stop getting on. This is why we're here, honestly. Get off the internet, stop ingesting this red pill content. Andrew Tate is clearly your idol for some weird reason because I'm not seeing it. He literally got his ass beat recently. And he's not spewing anything of how are you really following people who are giving you very much do as I say, not as I do? Because what is this relationship? He's literally fleeing Romania for human trafficking issues, but okay. And all of this is alleged, I guess. I mean, why am I even saying that? Whatever, but it's the news. But he's definitely giving this red pill finance bro, new level of hell I didn't think I could ever reach. But here we are. Thank you so much, Chris. You are now officially in the first spot. And then number 2 is Bree for having that conversation with Chris in the first place, because the moment he asked about their sex life, first off, that was inappropriate. Secondly, I don't care if it is or isn't the best you've ever had. I don't think she owes it, to the world to lie, but she did owe it to her fiance to shut down that conversation. I don't know why. Again, every time I log in on the internet, sometimes I'm like, why am I here? Why are you telling me this? And then when some backlash inevitably ensues, everyone's telling me, well, you don't have the full context. Well, I'm going by the context that you gave me. So if I don't have the full context, that's your fault. You're the one who brought me here. And then now you're mad at me for having opinions. Again, don't bring me here. Okay. That is where we're at. That is definitely where we're at these days. The bar is low. I just have to appreciate Chris for doing this in the first place, because I don't think that at times that people really think that people like this in this world exist. But shout out to him for doing it on a hot mic, also on, the cameras, telling people that, Connor is submissive. He doesn't care what Connor thinks. He's going to just, go for Bree, and Bree's obviously not going to defend Connor, I guess, at that moment. Maybe we'll see what the next episode entails. But at the very least, he's really going to try to Stefan Diggs us and tell us, I'm a really good guy. I cannot wait to see this reunion, because at the same time, while I'm happy he did this, I'm actually pissed that he's in the room with us, because Kevon and Alex are going to have a pretty decent edit this season, and they're not good people, but we're going to just gloss over them because this guy exists. Pisses me off because Kevon is definitely indecisive. Alex is definitely giving he's also giving red pill content consumer. He's day trading, crypto bro financing, and shout out to Ashley's dad for recognizing and clocking him. But at the same time, I'm I don't think it's because he's a better person or anything of that nature. I just think it's recognizing real at this moment, if I'm being honest, because as I look at this and as I'm listening to Ashley speak, she's also giving pink pill vibes, where I'm just ma'am, you are not a princess. The world does not owe you anything. I mean, to be fair, she is working and she's not out here saying, you owe me you owe me a retirement or anything like that. But at the same time, I don't like this notion of any of them, because they're both the same sides of the same coin. He thinks that he's God's gift to earth. She thinks that she's God's gift to earth. And in some ways, they both suck. They both suck. They don't belong together. And his mother made sense for why he was the way he is, but it does not justify why he is the way he is. So, and these people just honestly piss me off, because it's not their fault and they don't know this. But I was watching this on my 5-minute break at work. I was on a walk, and then I was screaming into the void, just really pissed off that Chris really sat down on this couch and told this woman that she's basically fat. And she's not. She's perfectly fine. She's very beautiful. She's obviously accomplished. But all you had to say is, it wasn't there for you. It wasn't there for you. You did not have to start it with that. And I just genuinely believe he was just trying to knock her down a peg, because he saw her apartment, and per one of his alleged exes, he's $60,000 in debt. And how is he really going to show up to Bree's dad talking about, I'm an account executive, but here's my Charles Schwab account, but my Visa, Amex, Capital One, whatever. Don't look at those. Don't look at those. But here we are. But for the rest of everyone, I did like Vic and Christine. They still happen to be a vibe. They very much seem genuine. They seem like kind individuals. I very much liked watching the meetup with her mom. I don't know if we're going to see his mom, but I mean, I'm very much looking forward to that. I love their genuine conversations about being in an interracial relationship, because everyone talks about being in one, but no one talks about the reality, because all these, Myron Gaines of the world will tell you that, they're not, and these were their words, not mine. They're not night riders. And honestly, I'm never mad when people reveal their true selves, because listen, if you're not checking for me, I'm not checking for you. And I feel genuinely fine when I say this. You can have your preferences. Who cares? But at the end of the day, you do not have to bring people into your foolishness to justify why you like what you like. Vic and Christine are going to be just fine. What is it? Chris and Jessica, thank God that's over. I'm really happy that I did not have to look at the look at the TV and say, Chris, shut the hell up. And Jessica, get up. She got up promptly and said, oh, and we're done here. We are done. I am so sorry you think that I should be at home just planning my Lululemon aloe outfits to go to Pilates all day, but I indeed do save lives for a living. And I'm going to go do that. I was doing that before I met you. I'm going to do that after I met you. And I'm hoping to forget you, honestly. And girl, same. When it comes to Mike and Emma, that was very cringe. I understand that they come from different backgrounds. I know he's very Italian, but his mom really needed to tell her that it's not gravy, it's sauce. And it's not sauce, it's gravy. You're doing it wrong. And then her having that whole conversation about them being on different pages about having kids. I definitely think she definitely needed to have that conversation with Mike and bring that to the forefront, because I don't know why they're both ignoring that fact that they are not on the same page when it comes to what they want as far as their lives, right? So I think she definitely should be having that conversation with her son, but in front of her and in the entire family, no. In front of the family and him, sure, if that's their family dynamic, absolutely. But why is Emma there, and why is everyone just essentially telling her, basically talking about her? That would be very weird for me. I don't think I could sit in a room where people are all discussing my life choices as if I'm simultaneously there while also not there. Because again, this conversation is not wrong. The reason why it's weird is, why is it in front of someone you're meeting for the first time? It reminds me of Bartiste when he introduced Nancy to his family and then decided to have the conversation of pro-choice versus pro-life, and his sister started crying. I was like, yeah, I knew it was done. I knew it was done then, because obviously, ma'am, he has no interest in protecting your image in front of his family. He wants them to know that he views you as a terrible person and wants them to agree with him when he talks about that and walks away from you, which, again, Nancy did not walk away. She did not. She had a lot of energy for everyone else but Bartiste that day, but at the end of the day, hopefully she's healed in a better place and living her best life. And I'm glad that they're not together. I think we can all say that. But yeah, so that's Nick and Emma. Mike and Emma, I don't think they're going to get together. Jordan and Amber, still have hope for them. Shout out to Amber for reading Chris right in front of him to his face. She said, I will tell you to your face, especially as he was trying to also tear her down a peg by being like, nobody liked you. You were loud, you were too much, which could be true. But I love how she came back with, again, just like daisies are not for everyone. Some people view them as flowers. Some people view them as weeds. I am not going to be for everyone. I wasn't for you. Thank goodness you. We both agreed, and everyone else who agreed with you also stepped to the side. But Jordan is man enough for me. I'm woman enough for him. And that's all that matters, because we're in this relationship, not whoever the hell you guys are, right? So again, that was him trying to tear her down a peg because he knew that everyone was not really feeling him. He was very right in that, but he still decided to come. I'm not sure if he was contractually obligated to do that, but he still decided to come. And since he came, I'm going to be judging what he came with. And what he came in with is a lot of audacity. And because how are you going to both request comfort from Connor and then be like, I don't respect him, I'm about to hit on his fiance, but I'm a good guy. Again, Chris, just go home, Chris. Just go home. Probably look up some credit repair company and just work on that and just move on. Because again, he was inebriated, dead ass. There's no way. And to your degree, you want to be like, well, that's at least the very least we can say that. Hopefully he is a lot better of a human being than he presented on that day. Because again, just because he did that doesn't mean that's a true reflection of who he is. I pretty much think it probably is, but here we are, right? So now that Amber and Jordan are out of it, I love how they supported each other. That, Bree, take notes. That is what you're supposed to do when someone talks down on your partner, okay? So now that we're all done with Jordan and Amber, we had Mike and Emma, we did Vic and Christine, we've already broken up Chris and Jessica. The only people left are Alex and Ashley, and to that, we've already talked about how I do think his dad read her properly, but I really think it's real recognizing real. I don't think the guy is probably, he's not going to be the Pope because he does work in divorce law and he's a lawyer. I know that is a very emotional and manipulative cycle to have to work in because everyone's trying to, prove that the other person is worse than them so that they can either get custody or they deserve money or a home or whatever. So it doesn't tend to bring out the angels of our better nature, like Abraham Lincoln once said that one time. So to that, and watching them try to navigate, I do not like him. He gives me that conversation they had about sex gave me the ick. I hate how he basically was basically saying that it's all your fault. It is all you. None of it's to do with me. But also, and then I'm just really sad because my initial fears for Ashley was that she was going to repeat the pattern of the past that she mentioned, where she makes herself small, because the moment she apologized, I said, what the fuck are you apologizing for? And then why is he apologizing to you for having been cheated on? And shout out to you for, yes, you're a little delulu, but you're not completely delulu, because she definitely was able to clock the math of you definitely were not being a quote unquote traditional faithful Christian man, at least in the month of September, that one time, based off of the timeline that you're giving me. And him trying to do all this mental gymnastics, trying to be like, no, I'm a good guy. Because what you didn't know is this thing and that thing and yada, yada, yada. So anywho, long story short, people were revealed. Love is Blind season 10 has me in a chokehold. We are out here about to watch all of this, and I am sad. I'm honestly sad for this entire thing because I do love the dumpster fire that is Love is Blind. As much as I will sit here and tell all these people that, first off, none of these healthcare people are correct, between the labor and I'm so glad I said that. Why are Brittany and and Devontae even here. Like, I think that Brittany is justified in feeling like she's not getting what she needs from Devontae. And Devontae, I think, is justified in saying that he's giving all that he can. Because I personally don't think he might be attracted to her completely, or he's got a lot going on with his grandfather. Either his grandfather's passing. Either way, he's not in a good place. I definitely think that they should just cut their losses and just walk in the opposite direction. And that is my theme for everyone, honestly, except for Jordan and Amber and Vic and Christine. So the resounding theme for this is everyone is not okay, especially the healthcare professionals, very traumatizing. And as a healthcare professional, I can say that. Between Brittany being the L&D nurse, Amber being the nurse practitioner who says she has poor financial skills and makes terrible taste in men. Okay. And that doctor they showed us for a split second on the very first episode who had haunting eyes. He's either seen something and has not unpacked it, or he himself is the problem and has not unpacked it. Either way, it needs to be unpacked. And then also Jessica, our internal medicine doctor. I like her. I love her. I really loved her home. And I really think the moment Chris saw her home, he was like, oh shoot, she's going to see that $60,000 debt and not be as forgiving because she's got her life together. So I need to humble her. And he himself was indeed humbled, and then try to do some stuff. And he might get a little bit of an ego boost because Bree is letting him talk for some reason, but it won't last long. It will not last long. But with the state of affairs as it currently is in this world, and according to this administration, realize that first off, we're not okay. But at the same time, I give these people grace because they're not seeing what we're seeing. And I am consuming this, which is allowing this to continue. So I just kind of have to recognize that I enjoy this because I need an escape from reality, and this was their reality, but it's not the complete reality because this is an edited show. So I'm saying give everybody grace. And if anyone is to listen to this, and even if you agree with me or disagree with me, I don't know these people. They don't know me. Like my lovely little sticker over here says, I am not qualified to diagnose, but I do have some theories, and all of these are theories, aka my opinions. And just like butts and poops and farts, we all have them. They all stink sometimes, and sometimes they don't, but it is what it is. They all do. I say that saying I'm an endoscopy nurse, so bowels and poop and all that doesn't bother me. You know what will bother me? Phlegm. That will always be a kryptonite of mine. Finally figured out my nail sizes. That's what's been taking me so long. We are going to talk about the book that I've been talking about, The Simple Path to Wealth. It's by J.L. Collins. Just like this sticker also says, I am an audiobook girly. So if ever you see this emotional support water bottle, know that none of it is a lie. These were perfectly curated, intentional stickers that I got. And I say this to say that I am enjoyed The Simple Path to Wealth. I basically liked it for the fact that as a first generation immigrant's daughter, right? First gen, I'm growing up in America. I'm doing a lot of firsts. And one of the things that were not taught to me were finances. My dad did always instill a work ethic to me, and that, you pay what you owe. Never take on what you can't, pay off. Hydrate. Always pay people back, right? So I have a strong sense of morality when it comes to things like that, right? So I say all this to say that as I am reading this book, I very much enjoyed how it's basically a letter that J.L. Collins is writing to his daughter, who's 19-year-old at the time of this book. And I think it was written in 2017 or 2015 time frame, right? So the Great Recession of 2008, housing market crisis had happened. At this point, I was around his daughter's age. So assuming she did the things that he said, she is in a way better place than I am. She is in a way, way, way better place than I am. So 2016. So I had just graduated from college 2 years ago, and I was 2 years in the game, hating my life and hating nursing. At that moment, I was on the cusp of making terrible financial decisions. Just a year after this book was published, I would be quitting my job without a job in mind because I was just annoyed and pissed, and I wanted to just break free of that. So I packed my bags and I was basically at MCO every 10 seconds. But anywho, I did eventually get here, and I circle around and say one of the major points of this book is that finances, personal finances, can be as complicated as you want them to be or as simple as you want them to be. But at no point should your strategy be, I'm not going to look at my finances. Part of what we're going to be checking in on this series is going to be me keeping up with the financial commitments I have made to myself, which is I'm already good at maxing out my Roth IRA, my HSA, but my next step that I want to do is I would like to max out my 401k, which would, at the time of this recording, be about $24,500. So my goal for this year is to at least get, at least 50% of it? At the very least 50%, and at the very most, the entire thing. But we're also going to be being wise, and if you're in a company where you get benefits like that, please make sure that you are matching your company at what they'll match you. So we're doing that, and that is based off of time and service and things of that nature. So be wise, make good choices, right? And then also taking a moment, looking at your budget, creating a budget, and trying to minimize debt as much as possible. Honestly, trying to minimize debt as much as possible is honestly the key word here. Because ultimately, I liked how he phrased it in the book, where it's basically that if you continue to accumulate debt, you're essentially living in the past because you're busy paying off things that have long passed while not being able to focus on the things that you really want in this life. So I feel like, if anything, I've always been a person who pays off my credit cards and everything like that. And, you know, Caleb Hammer, I know he's going through a moment right there, but I used to love watching Caleb Hammer in the original era of him starting his channel, where he would de-influence me and inspire me not to spend money, you know, make good choices. And now that I know he's lost his life, just like he's lost his mind, just like Dave Ramsey. I originally started off with them, but then as life happened, I kind of just realized and recognized that I just need to be realistic. Everything in personal finance, as you'll read in the book if ever you do, is life is all about consistency. It's not about doing one good thing one good time. You have to be making good choices continuously, right? So I kind of like how he basically challenges you to sit down, look within, figure out what it is that you truly want, and clean up your messes now so that you can live the life that you truly want. He calls it fuck you money, where it's just like, hey, if you need a break from work, if, especially in the times that we are now, you were to lose your job for whatever reason, would you be okay for a few days, right? So essentially putting yourself in the best possible way so that you eventually can live the life that you truly want. And that's honestly what it's about for me and where I'm at these days. So I'm very much recognizing and realizing what it is that I truly want. And for me, it's being able to spend quality time with my family and my friends, and, you know, being able to invest into passion projects like this one day. So essentially why I'm picking up the Simple Path to Wealth is I want to be able to take a break if I needed to take a break, spend quality time with people if I want to spend quality time. And if ever, you know, God forbid, someone were going through a difficult time, I would be in a good financial place to be able to support them. Because, you know, some people are acts of service, and some people are, you know, acts of service, gifts giving, and things of that nature. Me, I am a quality times girly. So for me, how I show up for my people that I truly love in my life is being able to support them, especially when life is not quite going as planned, you know? So that is my why. But we'll get into it a little bit more into detail when it comes to finances and things of that nature. This will be part of my checking in and why I'm here with you guys, because I do want accountability on that. But part of this is, as a person who is a millennial, who is an immigrant's daughter, and I happen to have extroverted, introverted tendencies, trying to reset the algorithm. Again, we're very informal here. If you do want to join, more than welcome to. But this is my way of keeping myself accountable, and then also just helping people realize that ultimately you don't have to have it all figured out, but as long as you look into it, as long as you're at least addressing the problem, you're having those discussions. Give yourself the opportunity to live the life that you want, essentially. And oh my gosh, I basically sound like one of those MLM companies. I'm not. I'm just really just a person who's really passionate. And if any of this resonates with you, just come along. I promise the video quality will get better. And hopefully I'll stay on topic more often. But these were my musings for Love is Blind season 10, episodes 1 through 9. And then also the book that I've read, A Simple Path to Wealth. I'm gonna go more into detail about this throughout the channel. I'm very grateful to have you here. Please like, comment, subscribe if that's something you wanna do.